This is the book of 2nd Exodus, chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou well understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Barak tha Yahweh, Barak tha Yahweh Shai, Barak tha Yahweh, Barak tha Yahweh Shai, Barak tha Yahweh, Barak tha Yahweh Shai, Kah Haloi Malai, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, rule well, being a great example to his younger brothers in truth, and peace and blessing to the hopeful elect, Lord, willing this edifying. And it's another edition of Measured Out of Time diligently. And this one gonna be short, Lord willing. So let's get into it.
New at 7, the entire planet is on a solar storm watch. The sun has been flaring up more and more as it approaches its solar maxima, the period of greatest activity in the sun's 11-year solar cycle. The latest magnetic activity is set to slam the Earth tomorrow, but there's no cause for concern. Solar storms are quite common, and some parts of the planet may experience power outages and radio signal disruption as a result.
And I was gonna just say real quick, power outages. See, the Lord can cut the power. If Esau don't want to turn the power out, the Lord can easily, if that's part of the Lord's will, let the power be out. And Lord do it Himself through what? Solar flare, so to speak, through the sun. Ultimately, you know. See, the Lord is in control of all things. The solar storms and the storms on earth as well. The Lord doing all these things. The Lord is in control of everything around us.
We're focused on one storm, but there's another one happening today. It's called a geomagnetic storm.
This Sunday, the sun erupted. It unleashed a solar flare with a spectacular coronal mass ejection.
This happened on Sunday. A solar flare interfered with short-wave radio communication and caused a blackout in Southeast Asia and parts of Australia.
For instance, in 1989, a strong solar eruption caused the Canadian province of Quebec to lose power for a total of 9 hours. This time, the solar flare has caused a minor radio blackout. But there is no guarantee if the next solar flare will have the same impact. Scientists say a giant solar flare is inevitable, and mankind is completely unprepared.
A storm is headed our way, and we're not talking about exactly what you may be thinking.
Yeah, there's potential severe weather is on the way, but also a geomagnetic storm that's expected to impact us tomorrow. Storm team meteorologist Rachel Dunsing has more.
A few days ago, space weather forecasters saw this eruption from the surface of the sun. It doesn't look all that impressive, but then something else happened.
We had one eruption early on the 28th of March, and that was headed towards Earth, and now we've had a second eruption behind that one. And so these two are combined now, and both heading towards Earth.
Hey, yeah, guys, most people won't notice any impacts, but if you heavily rely on your GPS or any radio communications, then you could notice some disruptions. Now, many people I know are wondering, what is a geomagnetic storm? Well, scientists say that these storms happen when the magnetic field of a solar flare interacts with the Earth's magnetic field. Now, weather forecasters say in the last week they saw 2 separate eruptions from the surface of the sun.
It sounds complex and maybe a little concerning, but the storm isn't strong enough to cause infrastructure issues. However, if you rely on GPS or use radio communication, expect some disruptions.
We let airlines know, people who use high-frequency radios for communications, we let them know. So there's a variety of customers that we interact with to help them prepare for these occasions.
While a geomagnetic storm won't have an impact on your cell phone, as we rely on more technology, space weather affects us, even if we don't notice.
Space weather is becoming more impactful to society, And so NOAA and the Space Weather Prediction Center, that's our role, is to be America's source for those watches, warnings, and alerts.
This is fascinating.
Yeah.
Let's get this. This the book of Luke, chapter 21, and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and waves roaring. Because the Lord can the Lord can cause a solar flare, so to speak, and knock out the satellites, you know, knock these things completely out. The Lord can do what he will, you know. Because in the kingdom of heaven, those satellites ain't gonna be up there. We don't know how the Lord gonna do it, but that's all that space junk ain't gonna be around the earth, man. You know, satellites and shit. No, man, that shit gonna be gone, done away with. But hey, the Lord is showing signs in the sun and the moon. You got geostorms, or solar storms, or whatever, geomagnetic storms and things of that nature going off in the heavens, and these are just signs of the end. You know what they said, the biggest one in the last 5 years, in 2022. So all these things are signs. India lost power. The Lord can cause one to happen in Egypt. America can lose power, man, for a long time. Just completely uh, 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 mess the grid up, the power grid of America all the way up, man. We don't know. All we do is just watch and and pay attention to the signs. Cause these are end time signs. We at the end, man. You know? And this place is done. America is over with.
You would never really think of, Brea, we appreciate you giving us this
And not just America, this whole the heathens ruling is over with. And Esau is the last heathen ruler. From America to Russia, the NATO, EU, you know, all these places, all these heathen in general, from Esau on down to Japhet, man, are done. That's the last of the heathen rule.
lesson this morning. Yeah. Thank you.
And that's pretty much the point. Lord, when it was edifying, I want to end to giving all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, rule web, and the great example to his younger brothers in the truth, and peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. Shalom. Call me Shalom.